Welcome. Welcome to this restorative yoga class today. We're going to start with a few really gentle movements, and then we're going to go straight into restorative yoga. So for restorative yoga, what we need is lots of props. I have bolsters and pads. If you don't have a bolster, just get a couple of cushions or rolled up towels, blankets, and roll them up. And then what we'll also need is a chair, something to lean on. And if you don't have a chair, don't worry. We can use the edge of the bed or the back of a sofa when we get to it. Okay, but for now, we're going to start by I've got a bit of a cold, so my voice might sound a bit funny. We're going to start by sitting. That's the word. All right. So I'm sitting on a bolster. Sit up on anything that you've got, cushions or whatever. And I'm going to keep my phone next to me because I'm joining in the practice with you today. So I'm going to use the timer to keep track of the restorative poses. So let's start in a comfortable seated position. That might be cross-legged or Virasana pose, whatever it is that's comfortable for you. And take a big breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. In through the nose and out through the mouth. One more time, in through the nose and out through the mouth. And then gently seal your lips without clenching the jaw or tensing the tongue. So actively relax the tongue. Let the tongue drop down. Let the tongue relax. Let the jaw relax, but keep the lips together. And softly start breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. And as you breathe, just have a look internally at your spine and observe how you're sitting. See if you can imagine someone just gently putting their hand right here at the base of your sacrum, just gently pushing your sacrum inwards and upwards, helping you sit up tall. So if you find yourself slouching back, just imagine someone helping you there, someone's hand, just supporting you gently at the lower back. And maybe at the upper back, if you find that you're rolling your shoulders down and leaning forwards, just imagine someone's hand at the front of the chest, lifting you up, and someone's hand at the back of the chest, just lifting you up and helping you lift your spine up. And that just helps create space in the upper body and helps us breathe better. And just go back to your breath, breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. So we're not controlling the breath to a great extent. We're just observing at this point. We're breathing in and we're breathing out. We're observing our posture and we're observing our breath. Today is not about control. Today is about finding ease. We're easing into this week and we're easing into the year. And we're going to move. We're going to move with ease. No force, no control today. There is a time and a place to work hard and to build discipline and to get the heart beating and to break out into a sweat. And there is a time and a place to slow down. And today and right now is that time and place to find that softness and to find that active rest. It's not a sleepy rest. It's a conscious rest. It's a rest with purpose. If you'd like, you can rest your hands in Chin Mudra. Bring the thumb and the index finger slightly pressing together, just the tips of the finger pressing together, the other 3 fingers relaxed, and letting the back of the hands rest on the thighs. Okay, and then from here, we're going to bring the hands together in front of the heart center. Press the thumbs into the heart center. And keep the fingers together. The fingers closed. Shoulders relaxed. We're going to open with Om 3 times. So breathe in through the nose. Om. 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 Taking a breath in. On the exhalation, bow your head down to your heart center. And inhaling, lifting the head. Open the eyes. Release the hands. All right. And from here, we're going to start moving the neck. So if you need to change the cross of the legs, go ahead. We're going to take a breath in. Look up. Exhale, chin to center. Breath in. Exhaling, chin down. And inhaling to center. Exhaling, look up. Keep the spine long. Back to center. Exhaling, down. Lengthen the back of the neck. One more time, back to center. Look up. Open the front of the throat. Open the front of the throat. Back to center. And now open the back of the throat, the back of the neck. Drop the chin down to your chest. If it doesn't touch, it's okay. And back to center. Now we're going to go from side to side. So take a breath in. Stay tall. On the exhalation, move your nose over towards your right shoulder. Take a breath in. Exhaling, come back to center. Take a breath in. Exhaling over to the left. Take a breath in. Exhaling back to center. Take a breath in. On the exhalation, we twist. Take a breath in and see if what you find is that your whole body wants to twist. Try and keep your shoulders in line with each other and just move the neck back to center. And now notice if there's a difference between the right side and the left side. We tend to tilt the head a little bit when we do this. So see if you can just try and keep the nose in line with the chin and bringing it over to the ear. So for me, the left side is much harder to get to than the right side. One more time. And I started noticing that when I sleep, I tend to sleep with my head towards the right. So this side is much more open. So see if you find a difference between one side and the other side. Okay, and then last one, take a breath in, exhaling, chin to chest. I'm just gonna, so inhaling, exhaling, right ear to right shoulder. See if someone else. And back to center. And then ear to shoulder, left ear to shoulder. And again, when we do this, we tend to move our head in weird directions. Try and just keep that straight line, that axis. Breathing in, exhaling, tilt 45 degrees. Back to center, breathe in, exhaling, tilt. Breathe in here, exhaling back to center. Last time, and have a feel to where you feel the stretch. Do you feel it in the neck? Do you feel it in the shoulder blades? Which side of the body feels a bit tighter than the other? And then other side. And go slow. And back to center. Okay. And from here, we're going to twist over towards the right. So lift the arms up on breath in. On the exhalation, turn over towards your right. So turn your upper chest towards the right. Bring the left hand down to the right knee, the right hand behind you. Just take a breath here. Inhale back up, over to the other side. Exhaling. Take a breath here and reach the arms up. Exhaling. Bring the hands down. Change the cross of the legs now, if you haven't already. And we're going to repeat that twist, but different cross of the legs. So we're going to start on the same side. We're starting on the right, taking the arms up on the breath in. Exhaling over towards the right. Just try and twist the upper body. We might find that what tends to happen is that the right hip wants to go back, the left hip wants to go forward. Just try and keep the hips in line with each other. Keep the belly soft. And just twist the upper body. Reach the arms up. Exhaling over towards the left. Notice the difference on both sides. Inhaling up. Exhaling, hands down. Okay. And from here, we're just going to warm up the body with a bit of tapping. Just a few minutes of tapping. So we're going to start with the left hand. Bring the left hand out. Keep the fingers wide. And with the right hand, we're going to start tapping from the thumb, the left thumb, up the arm. Just tap with your fingers on the right hand to your shoulder. Now go back to the inside of the palm and tap the inside of the arm all the way up to your armpit. And now go to the outside of the arm and tap, 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 tap. Just like a little self-massage. Starting to bring a bit of warmth into the body and get to the back of the shoulder, to the shoulder blade. Now go to the shoulder, to the center of the chest. And we're going to switch sides. So go to the right arm is up. Use the left hand to tap from the thumb. Down the upper arm, inner elbow, inner shoulder, armpit. Back to the fingers, to the center of the palm. Start tapping the inside of the forearm, down towards the back, the shoulder blade, down the side of the rib cage, and now the back of the hand, start tapping, 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 and to the shoulder blade, and to the neck, come back to the shoulder. Okay, now with both hands, we're going to tap around the collarbone, the heart center, the upper chest, around the chest if that feels good for you. Otherwise, maybe the fleshy bits are a bit uncomfortable, so stay around, come down to the side of the rib cage, around the diaphragm. So stay away from the belly, especially if you're pregnant and you're watching this. Just soft taps around the rib cage, sides of the waist. And we're going to go to the back, to the lower back. So tap, just gently tap on the lower back, the middle back if you can get there, otherwise don't worry. And now we're going to go down the left leg. So bring the feet wide and tap. Sometimes in the pregnancy classes, we do less tapping and we do more cupping. See what feels more comfortable for you. If it feels better to tap or to tap with your hands, with the palm of the hands or with your fingertips. And just go around the inside of the thigh, outside of the thigh, the knee. And if you can't get down to your feet because your feet feel too far, bring your feet closer to you. Top of the shin, the back of the shin, especially the calf. Shake that calf right and left a little bit. Get underneath the calf. The back around the Achilles. And then the foot and the sole of the foot. And again, bring the foot close to you if you can't get to the foot. Okay, and then work your hands back up the right leg. And now stay away from your belly if you're pregnant, and come over to your right leg and go to the inside of the thigh, outside of the thigh. Just tap, just let those hands be loose, do their thing. My hands right now feel like they're just working on their own. They're not really part of me. I'm not consciously moving them. They're just starting to do their own thing now. The top of the knee, back of the knee, top of the shin, and like the back of the shin. Start shaking that calf around the ankle joints, and then the top of the foot and underneath the sole of the foot. Okay, work your hands back up your leg. Now we're going to go we're going to just work the fingers up, and we're going to come to the face. So we're going to start at the forehead. And this lightly tapping, just lightly tapping with your fingers. So just tap the forehead. And now let's work down a little bit to the eyebrows. So just tap around the eyebrows, inner eyebrows, a little bit outer eyebrows. It's nice to close your eyes here. Underneath the eye sockets, so the bony bit on the right and left of the nose, the cheekbones. So work your way down now to the jaw. Go back up close to the nose. And then from the inside of the nose, go in between the eyes and work up to the forehead. Now to the top of the forehead, to the hairline. And now let's tap around the scalp, underneath the hair, all around the scalp. And see what feels better for you. Maybe the top of the head, the sides of the head, the back of the head. Try and get to it all and just notice how it feels. Work your way down to the back of the head, to the back of the neck. Okay, and then we're going to finish off with the ears. So we're going to bring the hands down to the ears and come to the ear, to the soft tissue, the cartilage at the top of the ears, and just rub. So we're not tapping anymore now, we're rubbing. Rub, rub, rub the top of the ears. Work your fingers down to the middle of the ears, the cartilage bit, where you get piercings if you're cool. I don't have any piercings, so I'm obviously not cool. And now rub down to the earlobes, where I do have earrings here. Just massage the soft bit on the earlobes. Press it. See if it feels tender. Okay, and then to finish, we're just going to go back to those 3 points, the top, the middle, and the bottom of the ear, and we're going to pull. So we're going to go to the top of the ear, and we're just going to pull, middle of the ear, and we're going to pull, bottom of the ear, and we're going to pull, and just release your hands down, and take a moment to see how you feel. Maybe you're feeling that warm and fuzzy feeling, a warmth coming from getting all that blood flowing. Maybe you're feeling a little bit more energized or strange because you've never done this before, whatever, just observe. Okay, and when you're ready, open the eyes. Great. And now we're going to come onto hands and knees onto the mat. So remove the props and we're going to come onto hands and knees. Excuse me. So bring the shoulders over the wrists and the hips above the knees. Now, if you're pregnant, bring the knees slightly wider. You can bring the toes slightly in a little bit. Okay. And from here, before we get into cat and cow, we're just going to start moving. We're going to start moving in whatever way feels good. Now, in theory, there's no rules here. If you are pregnant or recently had a baby, I suggest you stay away from dipping the lower back in. So go ahead, move your shoulders, your neck, your belly, and just start feeling your body a little bit. Moving through the spine. A little bit of a free movement. Close your eyes and see what happens. Maybe you want to roll your shoulders in circles. Maybe you want to go towards the right and the left. Maybe you want to go up and down. It's all fine. Just watch out if you have a belly, recently had a baby, to over tilt, because this will put a little bit of extra pressure on the lower back and we want to stay away from that. Otherwise, just move. Drop the neck, move the shoulders, move the hips, move the waist. Then from here, come to a neutral position. By neutral, I mean a long spine with the tailbone going down and the crown of the head going forward. And we are going to come into cat and cow now. Like I said, if you're pregnant, we're going to skip cow. We're just going to come into cat. So we're going to take a breath in. And on the exhalation, bring the chin into the chest. Start rolling from the tailbone. Take the sacrum down. Take the tailbone down. Hug the belly button in. Roll, 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 roll. Bring your chin into the chest. If you wanted to make it a bit wider, bring the fingertips down. So push up onto the fingertips. Spread the shoulder blades away from each other. And then from here, we're going to come into our cow. Starting from the sacrum. And then reversing the spine. Now, if you're pregnant, come back to neutral. Otherwise, you can go into the back bend, into the lower back bend, and open up the chest. And the last thing to move is the neck, and then we look up. So we're going to do this a few times. Breathing, and go at your own pace. So the idea of these free classes is that I join in the practice, and it's easy going. So my pace might not necessarily be your pace. Whatever you do, just flow with the breath and find your rhythm. Now, if you feel that you need to move your knees wider, go ahead. If you feel that you just want to bring your arms down and just put your head down and take a breather here, go ahead. All right, and when you finish the last one, now bring your knees wide, bring the big toes together and come into a child's pose. Bring the forehead down. If you need to, take the bolster, put it underneath, and bring the bolster. If you're not pregnant, you can bring the bolster all the way in. If you are pregnant, then keep it above the belly, around the chest. And just rest your head onto the bolster. So we're going to be here for 2 minutes in child's pose. And I'm going to put my timer on, so I'm going to join you as well. So find your comfortable child's pose. And breathe. So for me, my arms are bent. One hand is over the other. And I'll give you a bit of silence.
Okay. From here, stretch out your arms if they're not stretched out already. If you've got the bolster, take the bolster away. And we're going to stretch a little bit. So we're going to reach the right hand forward to the top of the mat, and the right hip back towards the right heel. So stretch the whole of the right side of the body and release. And then stretch the left hand forward. Walk the left hand towards the top of the mat, and as you walk the left hand up, send the left hip back and down. And release. And I'll bring the left hand on top of the right hand. So left hand is right above the right hand. Let's check I'm not muted. And walk the hands forward. Bring the hips back towards the heels, and now walk the hands, both the hands, over towards the right. Over towards the right. Now keep sitting that left hip down towards the left heel, left sitting bone back and down. Walk the hands forward and over towards the right. Breathe here. And come back to center. Change sides. So bring the right hand over to the left. So right hand on top of the left hand, the right palm over the left palm. Stretch both hands forward. Now walk both hands over towards the left. And reach forwards as you move over towards the left. So we're not just going over to the left, but we're reaching forwards and over. As you go over towards the left, send the right hip down and back. And come back to center. Okay, from here, we're going to do a twist. Now we're going to stay in each twist for about 1.5 minutes. So I'll put my timer on. Okay. So we're going to straighten both hands. And we're going to take the left hand underneath the right elbow. And I'm going to twist over towards the right, which means my right arm comes slightly off the floor. My right hand is on the floor. My left shoulder is on the floor. And I'm twisting over towards the right. And both the hips are going back and down. Then close your eyes here and breathe. And keep reaching forwards with that right hand. And keep reaching over towards the right side with the left hand. Now, if this feels like too much in the knees, you can always bring the hips up and do the twist with your hips above the knees if you need a break for the legs. Otherwise, bring them back down. Okay. And then from here, slowly come back to center. So unwind your left hand. Straighten both arms, forehead to the mat. And then reach over the right hand underneath. Bring it underneath the left arm. Bring the right ear to the mat. And reach forward. And I'll put the timer on again. So now the left arm is reaching forwards. right arm is reaching over towards the left. So our upper spine is being twisted. Hopefully you can hear the mic and it's not being squished underneath my tongue. And send your hips back down to your heels. Remember, again, you have the option of lifting the knees up. So lifting the hips up above the knees. You always have the option of coming out of the pose if this feels like too long. Okay, and from here, slowly, we're going to come out. Use the left hand. Push yourself up. All right. Okay. So now we're going to lean back. We'll be leaning forwards quite a bit. We're going to come back into Supta Baddha Konasana, a pose which is wonderful for everyone. Sorry, I've been a bit ill, which is also why I think it's great to do restorative yoga in January. So we're going to do a setup now that does require quite a few props. I have 2 bolsters. I'm going to use 2 bolsters to elevate my spine. If you don't have 2 bolsters, that's not a problem. Use cushions. It's nice to have harder things. So if you have harder pillows, harder cushions, that's nice. So that's why I recommend rolling up towels or blankets, but otherwise it's not a problem. Make yourself some kind of T-shape support and have I'm going to put a timer on, have some extra stuff nearby. So in case you come into the pose and you need to adjust, that's always good. So I'm going to also show you, if you have a yoga belt, how to make this pose extra special with a yoga belt. If you have a yoga belt, make a loop with the yoga belt. It needs to be a belt that's able to have a loop. Now, if you're pregnant, this is fine. Just don't make the loop too strong or skip the loop. If you've just had a baby, what we're going to do here is open the knees. So if you're recently postpartum, instead of opening the knees, keep the legs together. Okay. Otherwise, everybody else, we're going to take the loop and bring it underneath and bring it behind our hips. Okay. And bring the belt to the front. So the long end of the belt comes to the front. And keep all your extra props near you. As many things as you need. We're going to need something for underneath each knee and maybe some extra stuff for the head. Okay. So I have a bolster here because I know that I like a little bit of extra support. So for those of you who are pregnant and watching this, as you progress in your pregnancy, you might be needing more and more and more support. So with the loop, what I do is I bring the soles of the feet together and I bring the back of the loop really low down to the lowest part of my pelvis. And then I loop around my toes. Now, if this is too complicated with the loop, don't worry, ignore the belt. Just bring the soles of the feet in together. What is important, because we're going to be in here for about 5 minutes, is to support the knees. Now, it doesn't really matter what you have, cushions, pillows, blankets, anything, just support the knees. Yeah, even if it feels nice, because we're going to be opening the ligaments for quite a bit, we want to have some support. And when you're ready, lean back.
Now, the key here is not to open the front of the neck, so we crunch the back of the neck. We want to keep the back of the neck long, which is why I say have something near you if you need extra support underneath the head. Maybe you need to lift something up. Just make yourself comfortable. And we're going to be here for a while. It's about 4 minutes, which might feel like a lot if you haven't been in this pose for that long. But it does take time to teach the body and to teach ourselves how to stay still and how to slow down. How to sit in silence and switch from a doing mode to a being mode. We're just being here, we're not doing. And sometimes we need to remind ourselves about that. Let the palms face up. Let the elbows be heavy, the shoulders relax. And if you find that you're not comfortable, move out of the pose, adjust it, make any necessary change that you need to be comfortable. Maybe your lower back's aching a little bit. Maybe you need a bit more support underneath the lower back, or you need to make your reclining position a little bit higher. I'm going to mute myself and give you a few minutes of silence. And then slowly. Start getting ready to come out of this pose. Use the hands to lift yourself up. So bring the palm of the hands down, bring the chin into the chest, and use the arms to lift yourself up. And unhook yourself from the belt if you're using the belt. Just take a moment if you need to. Put the belt aside. Bring the hands onto either side of the knees and bring the knees up together. Okay. And from here, we're going to straighten out the legs. And we're going to take a bolster or something solid, something with a decent height to put on top of us because we're going to fold forwards. So I'm going to start with my right leg and I'm going to bend the left leg in. And I'm going to move over to the side. I'm going to show you a variation with a chair for anyone who's pregnant or for whatever reason can't access their head down towards their leg. So first, I'm going to use a bolster. I'm going to show you with a bolster. I'm putting the bolster on the shin so that it doesn't go on the knee, it goes on the shin. And the left foot is on the inside of the right thigh. So everybody can get here. If you need height, if you can't get here, if this is painful anywhere, try sitting up. Put something underneath your hips, or even try putting something underneath your left knee to give your left knee some support if your left knee doesn't touch the floor. And from here, bring the hands alongside the right knee. Send your chest to face your toes. Take a breath in. And on the exhalation, fold forward. So we're going to get the head down to the bolster. The head doesn't get to the bolster. We add height, add a block, add a cushion, add another bolster, whatever you need. And then place the hands wherever it's comfortable. It might be comfortable for you to have them up here. It might be comfortable for you to have them lower down. The important thing is that the head is resting on something. Now, for those people who might not get there, either because they have a belly, they're pregnant, for whatever reason, you have the option of a chair. If you don't have the chair, come to the edge of a bed, get a coffee table, anything you need. Bring a stool, bring it close to you, bring your forearms on the stool, and bring your forehead onto the forearms. And rest your forehead. Wherever you are, rest your forehead. Okay? So find that comfortable place. And I'm going to set a timer. We're going to hold this for about 1.5 minutes. And just breathe. It might be uncomfortable. Sometimes it's uncomfortable to stay still. And sometimes we only get into these poses because our body's calling for it. It's aching for the stillness. It's aching for this active rest. And if you find that discomfort in that stillness, it's okay. Just breathe through it. Know that you're not going to be in this pose forever. Just a few minutes. And know that no one's forcing you to stay here. This is not a challenge. You don't have anything to prove to anybody or to yourself. You just have to breathe. And through the breath and through the stillness is how we shift from the doing mode to the being mode.
And slowly get ready to come up and change sides. Straighten out the left leg. Bring the right sole of the foot in. And we're going to go to the same pose. So whatever props, let me just set the timer. Whatever props you use on the right leg, use the same height on the left leg. Even if it feels different, try and use exactly the same height, whether you use one bolster, two bolsters, the chair, use the same thing on the other side. And then this side round, I'm going to mute myself, give you that minute of silence, let you know when it's time to come up. And from here, deep breath and slowly bring yourself up. Take a moment, find your center again. Okay. Great. Just one more thing we're going to do before Shavasana. And we're going to need a chair for this. Or if you don't have a chair, the edge of a sofa or the edge of the bed would also work. I need some water. So depending on how tall or short you are, you might need to sit up on something. So I'm relatively short, so I find it better to sit up on a little pad or something, because what we want to do is we want to get the edge of that chair or your bed or your sofa along the base of the shoulder blades. Okay, we're going to sit with the legs crossed, and we're going to send the arms out, hold the elbows, take a breath in, and then reach the arms up and back and lean back into the chair. Okay, so there is a bit of a back bend here, and there is a bit of a puffing of the belly. So watch out for over puffing out the belly. We want to try and get into the upper back more than the lower back. So we're going to hold it for 1.5 minutes on each side. So then we're going to cross over the arms and then the legs. And when you're ready, reach the arms up and back. And if you heard something just crack from me, that was my sternum. This tightness in the front of the chest. And sometimes it just needs to open.
And breathe. Now, if this feels like too much for you, don't use the arms. Just stay here. And if it is way too much for you, then turn towards the front. Turn towards the chair that you're on. Come to sit with the knees bent or the legs straight out and just lean forwards on that chair or the sofa or the stool. Okay? You always have that option. Otherwise, open the chest, lengthen the spine. And try and find some softness here. This is a relatively active pose. It looks like we're not doing anything, but we're opening the whole of the front of the body and the back of the body. We're opening the throat, the heart, the solar plexus. You're exposing yourself. Being vulnerable here. And then change the cross of the elbows and change the cross of the legs. And go back. So on the breath in, reach up. Careful not to lean into the chair too high up in the back so the chair doesn't tip back. We want the chair to be lower down into the middle, to the base, bottom of the upper back. That makes sense. You'll find it. You'll find that spot. For ladies, it's more or less where the bra line goes, underneath the shoulder blades. Breathe into the side of the rib cage. Expand the heart sideways. By heart, I mean the heart energy. Send that heart energy sideways into the side of the rib cage. As your rib cage expands, the side of the waist lengthen. Your armpits open. Use the hands on the edge of the elbows to lift your arms away from the torso. And if you feel any strain in the neck, just don't do that lift. Just keep it soft. We're not forcing here. We're easing. We're easing into this back bend. We're easing into this opening. The same way that we're easing into the year. Just move with ease. Take a breath in. Exhaling, bring the hands down. And come back up and take a moment. Take a moment to find your center again before we move into Shavasana. Okay. And then from here, we're going to come into Shavasana. So, if you are in your third trimester or find it uncomfortable to lie on your back, come into Shavasana lying on your side, preferably the left side. If you've had a cold or blocked nose like me and have had difficulty breathing, it's nice to have that incline again. So I'm going to do Shavasana lying on an incline. So this time I'm going to put a pad underneath to give myself a little bit of height. So make yourself comfortable. Turn the lights down. Get yourself warm. If you want, you can put a bolster, a roll up a towel underneath your knees. As long as your heels are on the floor, that's fine. Find that support underneath the knees, not the shins, but the knees and heels on the floor. If you feel that you want to rest like that, that's completely fine too. So I think I might stay here and put a blanket. Otherwise, just come and lie on the floor. If you need support under the neck, get that support under the neck. Whatever it is you need. And breathe. Make yourself comfortable. whatever that means. I'll put the timer on. And feel the heels being heavy. Feel that contact between the heels and the floor. If you're lying on your side, then feel the contact between the feet and the floor. And just feel the heaviness at the bottom of your body, that the feet, the anchor, your anchor. Let it sink down. And feel the ankles and the shins starting to relax. And find that heaviness, that pull down to the earth. Let the knees relax. Let the thighs relax. These big, strong muscles in the upper leg, let them soften. Just be heavy. And let the pelvis relax. Our wonderful pelvis that does so much for us. It houses so many organs. It protects our body. Let the pelvis and all those organs around the pelvis also just relax. Let your abdomen relax. And then let the muscles around your back soften. We hold so much tension in our backs. Let them soften. And let the front of the chest soften. The sternum, that skin around the sternum just melt down towards the sides of your body and down to the earth. And with the palms facing up, let the back of the hands be heavy. Let all your fingertips be heavy. The fingers and the palm of the hand just weighing down into the earth. Let your wrists relax. Let the upper arm relax. Let the elbows relax. Let the whole arm relax. Let the shoulders relax, the shoulder joint, the front of the shoulder, the top of the shoulder, the back of the shoulder blade, the whole area around the shoulders. Let it completely soften. And then let the neck relax. So the front of the neck softens, the sides of the neck and the back of the neck. Let the chin relax. We forget about our chin. Let the edge of the jaw, the chin line, just relax. Let the jaw relax and the cheekbones and all the muscles around our nose and all the muscles around our eyes, all the muscles around our ears. Let them all just relax. Let the skin on your forehead melt away. and the whole scalp. Just relax. And feel the back of the head be heavy. And really allow yourself these few moments of being, of being a being, not doing anything, just being. Stay here. I'll mute myself and let you know when it's time to come up. And slowly start coming back to your breath. Start bringing awareness to your body on the floor. And if you're lying on your back, just gently roll over onto one side. Take a few breaths here on the side. And we're all going to come up using that hand to lift ourselves up. So again, without any force, just using the hands to walk yourself up. Crossing the legs, coming into any comfortable seat. Going back that seated position with that imaginary hand behind you, holding you up. And bring the hands together at the center of the heart. And just taking a moment to appreciate this feeling, this sensation, whatever it is. Whatever it is that you feel after having practiced a bit of stillness and a bit of silence. Just take a moment to observe how you feel right now and appreciate that with no judgment. Just soak it in. Taking a breath in. On the breath out, bow your head down to your heart center. Inhaling, lifting the head. And open the eyes. Namaste. Thank you.